Hi, everybody. So good to see you here at the webinar on digitizing safety and emergency response management, um, and how the Syook Safe module can help enhance safety at your workplace. My name is Deej Fukan, and I am the VP Marketing at Syook. I'm a very proud member of the company, and I love what they're doing and how they're helping their clientele. I have with me Mr. Arjun Nagarajan. He is the CEO and founder at Syook. Arjun, I request you to please introduce yourself a little bit about Syook and take it forward from here.
Thank you, Dheeraj. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. My name is Arjun Nagarajan. I am the co-founder and CEO at Syook. And prior to working at Syook, I have a little bit of exposure, right? My co-founders and I have about 36 years of combined oil and gas experience working across the world, right? And we used to work with oil service companies, which pretty much used to work with most of the major oil companies in the world. And we used to provide technology-based services on onshore and offshore rigs in the upstream oil and gas industry. So safety, as you know, especially in the oil and gas industry, is paramount. And working there gave us a lot of experience with respect to how safety is handled as a function and is an integral part of operations. So let's talk a little bit about operations, right? For the purpose of our discussion, operations means converting manpower and materials into goods and services as efficiently as possible, right? One of the most common examples that we can see is that of manufacturing, right, where raw material and manpower resources are used to convert raw material into finished goods. Um, Efficiency is a key word in operations, but however, overall operational success is uh, is completely dependent on safety. Right, safety is the most important measure of operational success because however efficient we are, however quick we are in production and other things, if there is no safety at the workplace, then the plot is lost, right? So let's talk a little bit about evolution of safety at the workplace. This is the famous Pivot curve. I'm sure all of you have seen it in some shape or form, right? On the y-axis is the level of losses, and on the x-axis is the time in an organization's safety evolution. Right? Initially, there is the traditional phase where there is the individual controls, attention to rules, discipline, and enforcement. Then there is the transitional phase once the traditional phase has been achieved, which talks about engineering controls and safe work procedures, right? And then there is the innovative phase, right? The innovative phase brings the step change that is required to decrease the level of losses to as low as reasonably possible, right? Where we create a culture of safety, we create a culture of motivation, and we try to eliminate risk in as many areas as possible, right? So safety, instead of being separate function with its own vertical, starts to get integrated into operations and becomes a part of the workforce culture. Now, in all these things, digitization plays a major role. Now, everything is getting digitized. A lot of organizations are undergoing their digital transformation journey. And in order to reach the innovative phase in safety evolution, we have to digitize. So let's talk a little bit about how does digitization help when it comes to safety. So lack of visibility in operations creates very expensive inefficiencies, right? So a lot of us are from the operational background. We understand if we don't know what is going on in real time, how can we correct it, right? That's the very simple premise. And if you don't know, like there are a certain number of people working in the loading unloading area, there are a certain number of people working in the engine room, and so on and so forth. Like, there are a number of examples that we can take, right? And if we don't know what is going on, how can we fix it, right? What the Syook Insight platform does is provide real-time visibility with a map of the facility, right? We are able to see where different sets of people are. We are able to see in real time positions of people. We are able to see how they behave in case of an emergency. And we also get contextual alerts in case something goes wrong, right? So I have a couple of very short use case demos that I would like to share with you. The first demo that I wanted to share with you is how a Syook Safe system works in case of an emergency in the facility. So what the platform does is basically plots position of different assets of value, right? And the most valuable asset is people on a map, right? For example, we can see the different employees in a certain color. We can see different contractors. We can see truck drivers. We can see the ERT or emergency response team at certain locations. We can see who the visitors are. We can see who the security guards are. All of this in real time, right? Now, let us say there is an emergency, right? So if there is an emergency, what happens in a facility is people start moving towards the muster area, right? Once people start moving towards the muster area, we are able to see in real time on a map how many people are there in the muster area as compared to how many people are stuck in a different part of the facility, right? We can also kind of click on the location of person to know who that particular person is who is actually stuck in a particular area in the facility. This actually helps us to know in real time where to send the emergency response team, how to respond in case of an emergency, right? This is just one use case. I'll show you another use case that is done on the same platform, right? So let's talk about another example where the Syook Safe application or platform can be used to ensure safety at the workplace, right? Let us say, God forbid, at the workplace there is an accident like a fall, right? Every person on the facility has a tag which is capable of sending an SOS alert, which notifies the real-time command and control center. By this, what is happening is we are kind of democratizing safety. Everyone at the workplace is responsible for the workplace being safe. Of course, these are two use cases that I wanted to highlight in detail today. There are a number of other rules that can be set to increase the behavior-based safety culture at the work site. So let me show you an example of that. So when we are at the workplace, and especially in the aspect of safety, if something goes wrong, if there is some wrong behavior when it comes to safety, we would like to be notified immediately, right? So the Insight platform has a complete rules engine or a compliances engine, right? So let us say we would like to implement the buddy system. How can we check whether the buddy system is actually working, right? So let us say we look at this rule, at least two people must be in the welding area at all times. This is something we can implement very, very easily using the Syook system, right? That one welder and one firewatch person is there with the welder at all times, right? Let us say there is a limitation on capacity, right? Only 15 people are allowed in the engine room for safety reasons. All of this can be tracked, and it is all very dynamic, right? Doesn't require any code or customization. All these things can be enforced and monitored with the Syook system, right? Another example is, in case of an emergency, where are my emergency response team, or where is my emergency response team? How do I mount an emergency response in the facility? So all these are rules that can be configured by the end user, right? So end of the day, the Syook platform is a very versatile system that actually helps us digitize safety, and build a culture of safety in the organization. So That's all I had for the presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We are very happy to take a few questions, and you can always contact us to book a demo and get into details of the platform. Thank you once again.
Great. Thank you so much, Arjun. Thank you so much for enlightening us with those points. I think, a safety in a warehouse and a facility is very, very important, and I think the solution can help a lot of people. So I'll open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, you can simply type it in the chat box. We will pick it up and ask the speaker, or you can simply ask us to unmute you. We will unmute you, and you can then ask the question. All right, here we go with the Q&A.